Hey, we're Mika and Joe, a married couple from South Jersey, showing you the real side of travel. From Iceland to the UAE, we break down every detail, planning, budgets, and what it actually costs. No hype, no BS, just honest, transparent travel. Follow us at MJTravels 856 and travel smarter with us. Thank you for watching. Hi, welcome to MJTravels. If it's your first time seeing one of these videos, we thank you for clicking on the thumbnail. We're still trying to figure things out, and we went on a trip, right?
We did.
10 nights out of Athens, Greece, returning to Athens, Greece on Celebrity Cruise Lines on the Infinity, which there is a little bit of an interesting history with us on Infinity. It's a ship that we were on probably about 25 years ago at this point, and it's our first time going back. We left from here, and where we live, fortunately we are able to pick from a couple of different international airports to travel from, so we have the ability to kind of shop around what airport's going to be cheapest to fly to Europe or anywhere else outside the country. If it's domestic, we pretty much only stick to Philadelphia because the savings just isn't worth it. But when you're flying internationally, if you live where we live in southern New Jersey, you can fly out of Philly to pretty much anywhere in Europe. Newark is usually our second choice, and then if you really want to, or if there's certain itineraries that you definitely want to do, you have to use JFK, which JFK, anybody who knows who's ever tried to get out to JFK, it's not easy. It's a little bit of a nightmare. So for this trip, we flew on United Airlines, and we left out of Newark, New Jersey. Another thing that we're going to do in this channel is we're going to tell you how much we paid for everything, which a lot of other travel channels you see on YouTube, people take trips, they don't really tell you how much the stuff costs. So one of the things that we're going to do a little bit differently is tell you actually how much the stuff costs. So for this round trip in economy from Newark International Airport, EWR, to Athens, Greece, it costs $1,961.82. And that was round trip for the both of us in economy. So that's after picking your seats. We actually checked the bag on this trip, which we did a trip. If you look back, we did a preview for what's the bag called?
My Monos carry-on bag.
Okay, it's supposed to be a bag that's supposed to get you through carry-on, and it meets all airline standards, and we're going to do a follow-up on that a little bit later. But we took that, but we did actually check a bag, and thankfully we did, because we got a lot of souvenirs on this trip, and we needed it. And the bag was overweight, but in Athens they didn't seem to care. They just threw it on the plane. They didn't charge us anything extra. So the drive up from where we live to Newark Airport is about an hour 15, hour and 20 minutes on a good day, depending on if you hit some traffic on the turnpike. And overall the flight was pretty uneventful. Yeah, the cabin was configured in a 242 in economy, so we picked two seats that are on one side. I think we were on the right-hand side of the plane, so we didn't have a stranger sitting in the mix here, so that was a good thing. So day one, flight was, again, uneventful, normal coach, economy level flight, nothing special to report or to comment on. Do you have anything about the airline? What do you think of United? I think it was our first time flying United over to Europe, or at all, really, because we live in Philly, or we live near Philly, so it's American Airlines pretty much mostly for us. But
I thought I was going to be upset because it wasn't, business class or, better class, and it was an extremely long flight with, no stops. So I was expecting to just be uncomfortable and miserable, but I actually was not. And I can say the food wasn't the best, which I didn't expect it to be, but I had a pasta dish, and I'm not sure what kind of pasta it actually was, but it wasn't good.
It kind of is like just a paste, like almost like the pasta just breaks down. It's overcooked. Like it's horrible. Like if you've been in the Army or anything like that, it's probably very similar to what you would get as an MRE or something along those lines. Not great food.
Sometimes it's hard to eat. You got to take your food onto the plane with you. If you're going to get hungry and the flight's going to be 8-9 hours, you should really grab something in the airport and take it with you, and not rely on some of the stuff they're serving, because it's not good. Yeah. I'm not even gonna say it's quality food. It's not good. But other than that, the flight was comfortable. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I'm not a picky eater, so I pretty much eat anything except for raw onions. Yeah, it was airplane food. It was on a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably a 3, you know, in my opinion. But I mean, I ate it. I ate a lot of your food too, I think. And
well, let's do check-in. We arrived early in the morning.
Yeah, because it's an overnight flight, so. And
we actually stayed at a place called the Moxie Athens, which was nice. I get nervous again because Moxies are kind of not the lower version. What am I trying to say? It's they don't have all the amenities and all the fancy stuff that you would go to.
They have everything you need. They're, especially in Europe, they're very popular in like the big tourist cities. There's a bed, there's a shower, some of them have refrigerators, we've stayed in ones that don't. There is no closet, they have like these brackets like on the wall with like hangers on them. So you're not going to get any of that, and a lot of them are in kind of converted buildings. It kind of seems like some of them used to be like an office building or some sort of a manufacturing space that they convert. It's very like a trendy, upscale kind of feel, but you do get, they're usually some of the cheapest hotels. And again, they're under like the Marriott brand, so if you have points with Marriott, you can take advantage of all that stuff.
And it is Marriott quality. I mean, you walk in and you kind of check in at the bar, and it's like, huh.
It's a little
but it's nice. I mean, it's kind of laid back and relaxed. The people are professional. The people that check you in are also working at the bar. You can get we get a welcome drink, which is always, you know, quite pleasant. If you go down in the evening or afternoon, you know, they have different foods, pizzas and flatbreads. And it's nice.
It fits like if you're traveling to Europe, I would definitely, especially if you're visiting multiple cities and only staying in a place for 2 or 3 nights, I would definitely tell you to stay at a Moxie, because if you look at the locations, they're usually very centrally located in areas where a lot of the things you're going to see as a tourist, like right where they are. Mm-hmm. And if you compare the prices, they're hundreds of dollars less a night than what you would pay at like a Hilton property, or they have courtyard properties pretty much all over Europe too, but those are really expensive. If you're a Marriott person, you're used to staying at Courtyard or some of their other properties, and you've never stayed at a Moxie, it is a little bit different. It's not the same, the amenities aren't the same, the systems aren't the same, but again, still part of Marriott family, but what you're paying for is access. So you're paying for access to like location, location to, all the great things that you want to see in a given city. Like we were right, a little bit of a sketchy neighborhood that reputation in Athens. If you look on YouTube on other channels, you'll see people talking about the Omonia neighborhood. This is right on the edge of the Omonia neighborhood, and I didn't feel unsafe at all. I mean, I got asked for money, I think, when I had to use an ATM for something once down in the train station, in the Omonia train station. But we used that train station pretty much all day when we were going back and forth. Overall, check-in is smooth. Beds are a little hard, not the most comfortable beds I've ever slept in, right?
I was fine.
Yeah, she was fine, but I find the beds to be a little bit hard. But again, for the price, it is what it is. You gotta be willing to make sacrifices if you want to see the world. So.
And the price, we stayed there, it was 2 nights, right? We stayed there, and it was $326.53 US.
For both nights. The last night we were there before we were going to the cruise ship, we just decided to have dinner there. And the food is fine. I mean, and you do get, like, especially if you're in an area or you're going to a country where you may not really be into the local cuisine, which we'll get to that too, you can get like kind of Americanized things there. They have like a cheeseburger on the menu, they have like flatbread pizzas, they have, different kinds of sandwiches, club sandwiches and stuff like that. So Moxie Athens, thumbs up, go there and stay, especially if you're on a budget. I mean, if you're looking to spend $300 a night at a place, I'm sure there's much more upscale places you can stay at, but not necessarily. You can use those funds in another way, because you can definitely spend money over there. Day one, Athens, you land early in the morning when you fly from the East Coast. You get to your hotel. Hopefully your room's ready. Sometimes it isn't. This time it actually was.
Yeah, it was.
And we typically, first day, to hell with the jet lag, we pretty much hit the ground running, right?
Yes.
We call it mandatory fun.
Yeah, we put our luggage down, cleaned up, and took off.
Yeah, we just pretty much wandered the city, right?
Yeah,
First day.
we
We
took
didn't have
off-
anything planned, so.
Yeah, we took off on foot, actually,
Yeah.
that day. And
Yeah, now Athens is, I think everybody will tell you that it is a pretty walkable city, and it is. You know, most of the stuff that you're going to want to see in Athens is kind of in one area. Train system is really easy to use, not necessarily as robust as other cities in Europe like Munich or London or some of the other places that we've been. It's safe. There are issues with pickpockets, particularly on the airport line. If you're coming from the airport into town, that's pretty much what everyone says, from the police on down to other content creators, that if you're going to run into pickpockets, that's pretty much where you're going to run into them, is on the train from the airport to the hotel. We never do that. We just splurge and get a cab or an Uber. The first day, we pretty much just wandered around Athens, the local area.
yeah, if you came out of the hotel and you looked down one street, you could see the Acropolis sitting up on top of the huge mountain. So we just kind of walked in that direction, and that's where all the fun, all the people, everything was. So we just headed down there.
I was a little bit taken aback by Athens, I think is fair to say. I'm not sure what, I don't know, we agree on that, right? That it was a little, the city, and this is hard, because I don't want to discourage anyone from going to Athens, but we've been to a lot of places around in Europe at this point, and I will tell you that Athens is probably one of the dirtiest, I guess, cities that we've been to over there. And there's reasons for it, but
I would say, for it being as old as it is, it's kind of underdeveloped, and that surprised me.
yeah, very, very underdeveloped. And there's reasons for that we found out later on. That, a lot of people don't realize that World War II, they were occupied by Germany. They had like partisans and freedom fighters that were fighting against the Germans and the Nazis all through World War II. And then when World War II ended, like the rest of Europe, part of the Marshall Plan, they got money to kind of rebuild their cities and upgrade things and make them kind of what they are today. There was actually a civil war going on in Greece up until like the 1970s. So the bulk of the rebuilding and redevelopment that happened after World War II in most of Western Europe did not occur in Greece until the 1980s, I think. There was some time that it took for them to really become like a stable country politically and economically, which they still have economic problems there now. Like there's a lot of graffiti, certain parts of the city, there's a lot of garbage. There's a lot of people that are asking for money. I liked Athens though, I did like it. The people were very friendly. The monuments that they have and some of the ruins that are in the city are beautiful, very historic, and the people there are very proud of them and their culture and their history, and that's all something to be proud of. Overall, Athens was, I would say, definitely go, but don't make that your first city in Europe that you go to. Yeah, Athens was, it's a city that I think everybody should see just because of how old everything is. But go there and, keep your expectations in check, especially if you visited places like London or Paris or, Berlin or Munich or any places like that. It can be pretty chaotic at times. The people there are very passionate. They're very, they're very proud of their culture, but you can tell that economically, they're just not as developed as some of these other places.
Yeah.
The food, I love Greek food. Mika is okay on Greek food.
Yeah, I'm good with Mediterranean
Yeah,
food.
good with Mediterranean food. It's not really what you get in the United States, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some of it's a little bit different. You find that when you go to Europe. If you get Italian food, where we live, it's really Italian-American food. It's probably the same way with Greek food. It's like Greek-American foods. When you go over there, it's more authentic. And that doesn't mean it's bad. I enjoyed it. The problem that we had was there are a million restaurants all over the place. all of these restaurants serve the same, I'm gonna be generous and say 8 or 9 things. It's pretty much lamb, gyro, souvlaki, stuff like that. You can see they're pretty much identical, these menus. And you get tired, believe it or not, after 2 days, you get tired of eating this stuff. Sometimes you just want a pizza, sometimes you want a little bit of a variety. And maybe that's because we're Americans and we have variety of pretty much everything. You know, some people make fun of American food and say, oh, it's not authentic or whatever. It's not, but it's different. You know, there's a variety of food. You can get Chinese food here, you can get, you know, pizza, or you can get
steak,
or
lobster,
yeah, it's not like that there. It's everybody's kind of serving the same thing, and it is good. It's good. I don't want to say it's not good. By the end of like day 2, it's like, let's just get pizza at the hotel. So the food is good in Athens, but you just can't eat it like every day, or you get tired of it. And you know, I don't know. I found kind of everything to be a little salty too.
That one, yeah.
Maybe it was at one place.
It was at one place.
That kind of stuck out. Yeah, kind of salty, but you know, it's not the culinary journey that I think a lot of people think they're going to take when they go to Athens. So Athens, overall, I would say definitely go see it. But if it's you want to like see that as part of I want to see Europe kind of idea, I would say don't go there first. That would be my advice.
Yeah, and don't go to Athens and spend a week.
Yeah, no, don't do that. You do not need to spend a week in Athens. 2 or 3 full days. And, I mean, you could definitely do it in 2. But if you have to stay a third, it is what it is. You can definitely do it in 2 days.
We wandered around and I saw enough. And
we were like, okay, when's the next part of this trip kind of kicking off, right? So, which brings us to our next part of the trip, right?
Well, what were we doing in Athens? We went to the Acropolis, we went to the slopes. That was pretty cool. We actually went early in the morning, and thank God we did, because as we were coming out, we spent maybe an hour there, and as we were coming out, it was mobbed.
Yeah.
There were just people everywhere. You couldn't really get good pictures. There was a lot coming back. So go early. Make sure you're, one of the first couple people in there, and you'll be able to get nice pictures and just tour around without bumping into people. And
we went in right at 8 a.m. I think the place opens right at 8 a.m. So we were one of the first people in there. And we had quite a bit of time kind of to ourselves up at the Acropolis and the Temple of Athena. And they have a couple of different theaters that are part of that. The slopes kind of complex that you can literally see the area from pretty much everywhere in Athens. Like you just kind of look up and in one direction. You see the big hill with you can see the Acropolis on top, but then there's a couple of different sightseeing kind of things that are on your way. You do walk up there.
Well, we took the train. I thought, like, how are we climbing this mountain? He's like, oh, we're gonna walk. And I'm like, how are we getting to the top? I'm not climbing that mountain in any way. But you actually take the train. That's when we took the train. Yeah. And the train takes you off, drops you off at the Acropolis stop. And we walked. It was a short distance, not far at all. Not even a half a mile.
No, it was probably like 500 feet from when we came up out of the tunnel to the gate to go into the Acropolis.
And it was right there. And that is actually a very nice neighborhood that we saw when we were leaving. I don't know what those buildings were, but they were very pretty. It was around the museum. It looked like embassies.
They were. That's what they were. They were embassies.
Yeah. Very marble front doors. Gorgeous.
It puts you kind of halfway up, believe it or not, like around the other side of the hill that you can't see from other parts of the city, because it looks really, really high from if you're down near where the hotels are in the central part of Athens. But then when you take the train, I guess it goes up a little bit in elevation. So there is an uphill walk that you have to do. So if you can't walk, or if you're really overweight or out of shape, you are going to have a hard time getting up there. It's marble on the ground, so it's very slippery, so don't wear flip-flops. Make sure you're wearing, sneakers with, good rubber soles, so you don't slip and fall. A lot of people slip and fall.
Yeah, there were a couple falls that we saw.
Yeah, there were a few falls. Even when we were there, and there weren't many people there, but they said all day people fall down. Just not appropriate footwear, or just not taking the appropriate care, because marble gets very slippery, especially in the morning. If there was some rain overnight, if it gets wet, it's very slippery. Any normal person, I mean, neither of us are in like really good shape. We had no problem like getting up there. Yeah, if you have like health problems or whatever, you will struggle to get up to the top of there, because it's probably like, I don't know, how long did it take us? If we didn't stop along the way, like the walk to get up to the top, maybe 15 minutes?
Yeah, but I mean, you stop and take pictures, you stop and look at the beautiful view overlooking the town,
city.
And then you can see the water from the top, so
You do stop along the way. But yeah, nothing like it. It definitely is one of like one of the wonders of the world. I don't know how many there are now, but it's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, especially when you consider when it was built and how old it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tagua Square. We actually got to witness they do the changing of the guard all day, every day. We got to witness the big one, the main one, where they, bring out the marching bands and they do the whole,
That's
thing.
on Sundays.
Yeah.
At 10 a.m. Yeah, Sundays at 10 a.m. is if you want to see like the whole deal with all the pomp and circumstance. They close the road, and all of the Greek guards, the guys who wear the funny outfits with the shoes with the puffy ball on the end of it, and do the thing with the foot, and, to see the whole thing, it's Sunday at 10 a.m. Otherwise, you can go there every hour, and they change guards every hour with a much smaller, more suppressed kind of ceremony. But yeah, it was very cool. The one thing we didn't like about it is we were there about an hour early, so we were all lining up where we thought we had to kind of stand. And then about 10 minutes before the thing started, they told everybody they had to get away.
Yeah, either stand across the street,
Yeah.
or they push you back to the sides.
Right.
And that's where you have to stand. So we thought we kind of had a front row view, and then our front row view turned into standing behind,
a bunch of people, because the people who showed up late turned around and went right to the spot, and we had to turn around and go behind them. Because we were like, I don't know, we were right there.
Yeah.
So, but that's neat. It's something to see. They take a lot of pride in it. It's definitely something that if you are interested in going to Athens, you've seen it on other videos. But yeah, Sunday 10 a.m. but double check the time, don't take it from me, I'm just going off the top of my head. Sunday at around 10 a.m. is when they do the full changing of the guard, where they have the more elaborate ceremony. They have usually a band with them that's marked like a military band. That's playing horns and drums and stuff like that. So very cool, very neat. And in that area, there's restaurants, so you can catch that and go have a late breakfast or an early lunch or something like that. So that's a nice part of town too.
We walked to that one building, the one where they were having it's funny, it was the weed thing, the symposium.
Oh yeah, that was down by the Agora, right? It's obviously where they have events in town, and we're like, what is this? What's going on here? Because we saw a bunch of people walking towards it, and as we got up there, they were having like the Athens Weed Expo, like right when we were there, and there were people going in. You just started smelling it as you got closer to the building. But we didn't go in because they wanted like 20 euros or something for a wristband to go in and walk around, and that's not why we were there. And again, those are all marble floors and stuff. Lots of marble in Athens. You do not want to you want to be careful, especially when you're walking on marble, because again, it's very slippery. So saw a couple people fall when we were there.
Oh, we went to your football stadiums.
Oh yeah. We did that too. We didn't go to the stadium for Panathinaikos, but we went to the stadium where Olympiacos plays, because whenever I go to the city, I always pick one of the teams in the city and I buy a soccer shirt, like a jersey, from their pro store or whatever. But yeah, Olympiacos, you can look them up if you're into soccer. Probably one of the more militant football clubs in Europe. Gate 7 is a cadre of it's like a fan supporter group that basically go into the stadium. They have to go through additional security. It's barbed wire, kind of cattle chute looking thing. I've never seen anything like it. It is wild, and I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory.
So it's next level. Like, if you look at the history of this fan supporter group, they've been banned, they've killed people, they've started riots in the city, and they're one of the rival clubs that are, you know, it's maybe 10 or 15 minutes away is Panathinaikos, and they're kind of the same way. Like, they have a supporter group called Gate 13, and those two groups, Gate 7, Gate 13, like, it's on site. Like, when they see each other, like, they're gonna fight each other, you know, especially if they're playing each other. You know, they'll march down the street toward each other and just have like a gigantic fight. Very, very passionate, like unreasonably passionate fans in Greece for their football. So
we went down to the beach. Wasn't
Yeah.
a great beach, but we got to see, you know, the actual water
Yeah.
there. And
there are beaches in Athens. They don't look to be, you know, 5-star beaches, prettiest beaches in the world or anything, but you can go to the beach in Athens.
water was clean, looked nice.
Yeah.
There were people swimming.
And it was cold, so, but I guess the Aegean Sea stays a certain temperature for most of the year, so even when it's cold in the air, it might be warmer in the water, which is kind of a phenomenon.